Hi everyone. This video is I decided to record solution for Sum67 from Codingbat array from array 2, um, and this is one of my very favorite uh, tasks here on Codingbat because this is where you can push a little bit further down on your problem solving with arrays. um, this is where you can test your logic as well. This is going to be a very interesting question. So basically, return some of the numbers in the array, except ignore sections of numbers starting with a 6 and extending to the next 7. And every 6 will be followed at least by one 7. Return 0 for no numbers. So, according to the question, every 6, there will be at least one 7 followed right after 6. I mean, not right after, somewhere along the array. So, what we have to do here is that ignore the numbers between 6 and 7 and just sum the rest of them, right? So, here, if we look at here, there are no 6 and 7. So, we're just adding all the elements to each other, getting the sum of the array. Now here we will get some of these numbers until 6, and as soon as we see 6, we want to make sure that we're gonna ignore everything until 7. And after 7, if there were numbers, we would add them up, but in this case 7 is the last index, last element in the array, so we're just gonna add these 3, and the output is 5. So here it's a little different now. There are no any elements between 6 and 7, so we're gonna just ignore 6 and 7 and add the values except for those two numbers, and which will add up to 4. So let's imagine that if there were numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4, 7, 8, then what it would look like is that we would add these numbers here, which will be 6, and then we would ignore everything between 6 and 7, and then we would just add this 8 at the end. So the total would be expected 14 here. So um, let's try to solve this question now. Basically here I want to create integer sum variable. I want to initialize to 0. That's where I'll be adding up the elements from the array. And what I want to do is create a boolean pause, and I want to set it to false. Yeah, I will explain that in a minute. What I want to do is I want to loop through this array with a for loop until nums the length I plus plus incremented. And if now here's the trick, I want to make sure that I am gonna return the sum at the end, but before that I want to make sure that if the element from that given array is equal to 6, then what I want to do is here I have created a boolean pause. That's where I want to pause. If the element here, let's say when the element is equal to 6, I want to make sure that I ignore 6 until 7 and everything in between. So I want to make sure that pause will become true at that moment because I want to pause the counting. And if the pause is equal to false, basically when the number is not equal to 6, what I want to do is I want to add up the elements from that given array. And if another thing that we have to check it until we meet 7. So uh, while okay, until we find element 7 from our given array, we want to keep ignoring basically, because when the pause is equal to true, we are not going inside this if statement. And when element is equal to 7, then we want to set the pause to false again, because we want to keep continue adding the elements to each other. Here I want to put for good coding practice, I want to put a space there. So let's run it, and it is passing all the cases. That'll be it for today.